Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakach Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Demayim in Atlanta, and I wanted to talk about this video that's right here. And it's about a group of Edomites who are descendants of slave owners trying to reach out to the Israelites, which are the descendants of slaves. And they're trying to make everything better and talk about it, talk it through, but it's just, wickedness is under his tongue, basically. This is some sick fetish of some sort, some kind of control fetish and power fetish where they're trying to basically relive those times. There's nothing good to come out of this because you're dealing with the same people that actually enslaved you. So let's take a look at this video.
Did you hear about the group of white people who are searching for descendants of their ancestor slaves so they can be friends with them? There is a group called Coming to the Table, and it was created by a man called Will Hairston, whose family used to own 9 plantations from Virginia to Mississippi. When Will was 18 years old, he learned that there was a group of black families nearing 800 who had the same last name as he did. It turned out that those black families were descendants of his family's plantations. In 1980, Will's father was invited to be the guest speaker at the Black Hairston's family reunion, and Will decided to tag along. Will says he was shocked to find that the black families were so open and welcoming that it changed his life forever. Captivated by this experience, Will went on to meet a woman named Susan Hutchinson, and she was a descendant of former President Thomas Jefferson, who was also interested in black ties to her family. Together, they created a group called Coming to the Table, which is an acronym for Taking America Beyond the Legacy of Enslavement. Their hope was to create a collaboration between direct descendants of enslavers and those they enslaved. And it worked. Today, Coming to the Table has more than 50 affiliate groups in 18 states. They say the organization is a fulfillment of Dr. King's dream. And I say, get a new hobby. Initiating a conversation with a black person about slavery is a slap in the face.
Do you know where your ancestors are from?
We don't want to hear that from you. Why? I've been asked this question before, so let me break it down. Imagine your dear old mother at the age of 13 being violated, assaulted, abused, and having her entire family taken away from her. Imagine that it took your mother decades to come to terms with who she is, to create a life for herself that she's proud of, and to finally heal. Now imagine someone who looks just like the person that brought so much violence and disruption into your mother's life comes up to her and tells her they want to talk about her past. Not only do they want to talk about it, they want to relive the graphic details for their enjoyment, and your mother doesn't want to do it. Why would she? She's over it. Every time you bring up slavery to a black person, you're saying, let me remind you of who you are. But guess what? We've come a long way, baby, and we're none of that anymore. We don't need a white person to lead us into racial healing because our existence and progress is already evidence of that. We don't need to bond with you over shared trauma, and we don't believe your tears. As the author of 2 Black history books, when white people come to talk to me about Black history, there are 2 subjects that they broach. One is the black people in their lives who impacted them in a positive way, and the other is to recount the most disgusting, vile, and atrocious acts of violence against black people that they can think of. It seems as though they become emotionally aroused by the thought of violence against black people, and they want to share it with me. They're not doing it because they care. They're doing it because they're bored and they need something to make them feel. When you learn about your family's role in the degradation of black people in this country and you think you want to talk to a black person about it, just be quiet. If you're feeling some type of guilt, if you want to make it right, the best thing to do would be to create opportunities to lift black people up to become equal to where you are. If you can't do that, then stand up for black people in rooms where we are not present. Reaching out to us to lead a conversation about slavery is an insult to those of us who are making it. And those who aren't making it are only going to try to get you for some money. If you really care, let us lead our conversation.
Hey, and you could see in Salakia for the black woman screaming in your face, screaming in your ear. But she's correct. Wickedness is under their tongue. This is just a way to reenact what their ancestors did, and they like it. They enjoy this. They revel in this idea of having power over you, in which she keeps saying black people, but truly so-called black people are the southern kingdom. We are the true Judites, which are spoken of in the scriptures. We're under the curses that are written of in Deuteronomy 28. We are those people, and they are the Edomites, so-called white people, and these small hatters with the big noses that are in the Lord's land. Those are Edomites, and these are the Israelites' greatest enemies. And so there's nothing that can be done. They can't heal this wound. Only the Lord can heal this wound. And so we're going to start out here in Job 20. It says his children, Job 20 and 10, his children shall seek to please the poor. And that's on the outside what it seems like that group is trying to do. They are trying to please the poor. They're trying to make this all better. It says, and his hands shall restore their goods. That's the only way to do that, is through indemnification, which is an insurance term, and it means to make whole. That's the way, but it's going to be made whole through the Lord, because they're not going to do it. They're an unfair people. They don't have morals, or they just make up their own morals and go off that, and then they break it. But they're not the people of the Lord. They're not a righteous people, so they're not going to make any of this better. They're just going to exacerbate it. But this does show them, at least on the outside, seeking to please the poor, which the poor are the Israelites and his children. These are the descendants of these slave owners, the Edomites, in which, because of reincarnation, they are their forefathers. They're the same people that committed these heinous acts, and the only way to fix it is really through their blood. They've spilled a lot of blood, and there's a blood payment for them. And so here is the website for Coming to the Table: Truth, Justice, Healing, working together to create a just and truthful society that acknowledges and seeks to heal from the racial wounds of the past, from slavery and the many forms of racism it spawned. And so the people that created this problem are not going to be able to fix it. They're not going to be able to give up enough to fix it. But just wanted to check out this site as well. But let's finish off here in Jeremiah 30. Because we've been wounded, and the only way out is through Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. That's why we're in this position, because we broke the law, statutes, commandments. But it's going to take us coming back to the Lord, crying out to the Lord for his deliverance, for everything to actually be healed. The healing doesn't start until Esau's world is over, in which the Lord's raising us up currently, and that's part of that healing process. But it'll truly be done once Esau is thrown down, to see the fall of our enemies. And Yahushai's return speaks of it in Revelation, last chapter. on how there will be no more curse. He's going to wipe away all tears and there will be no more curse. An Edomite cannot do that. And that's even them trying to put themselves into a savior position. Again, it's something they do over and over, but they're not a power. They're not a God. They're just men. And they're going to fall like men. This is Jeremiah 30 and verse 12. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, thy bruise is incurable. Everything we went through during the slave trade and since turning our backs on the Lord, it's put trauma onto the Israelites that cannot be cured. It's just way too much. The Lord said he bruised us with the wound of an enemy. He got us really good. These curses got us really good. And we can't get out of it unless we turn back to the Lord. In which the Israelites as a whole are not going to do that. Only the elect, 1/3, are going to do that. It says, and thy wound is grievous. Because we're still messed up. And slavery occurred 150 plus years ago. We still can't get past it. We are traumatized. These curses cleave to us. It's something that can only be healed through the Lord, not through some group talking to the people, the descendants of the people that owned your descendants. That's not going to do anything. It says, there is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. So there's no possible way to get out of this. There's no ointments. There's no healing balm. There's no procedures that we could go through to be made whole. Only the Lord can indemnify us. Only he can make us whole. Jeremiah 30 and verse 16. And this is part of the process of being made whole. The others, they have to feel what they did. As thou hast done, it shall be done. Jeremiah 30 and 16. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. That's making whole. That's what these people call karma, and we're waiting for that to take effect. And our enemies completely devoured us, starting with Esau, Edom, so-called white people, including the Small Hatters. And really, the Small Hatters are at the top because they've done the most wickedness. They own the slave ships that we came over in, and they stole our identity as well. This is what's coming for them. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured. So the Small Hatters, the Edomites, are going to be devoured with these curses, especially because the Lord said he's going to put all these curses onto them that trouble us. It says, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. All of the nations are the enemies of the Israelites. You can read Psalms 83. Every single one of the heathen nations is going into captivity, into hardcore slavery. And especially the Edomites. It's going to be so hard for them, they're not going to make it out on the other side. And it says, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. And the scripts say, once thou ceases to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. Speaking of the Edomites. It says, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds. So the Lord's going to do this. It says, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It's going to wipe away all tears, and there shall be no more curse. Only the Lord can do this. So it's because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. And we've had it bad, but the Lord's going to wipe away all tears. He's going to restore health unto Israel. He's going to make us whole again. And our end will be better than the beginning as well. And for our adversaries, for our enemies, they're going to get a double portion. or Esau Edom's going to get a double portion because they've done so much blasphemy, committed so much violence, stolen so much, confused the earth so much, just done so much. They've touched the apple of the Lord's eye far too many times, and they're about to be a spoil. And there will be no groups coming to them to try to heal them. We're not going to be seeking to heal them when they're poor. They're just going to be completely devoured by the Lord's judgment. And so, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Chakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.